Guy Benson's the host of the Guy Benson Show, and Erin Elmore is an attorney and Trump 24 political appointee. All right, so this is where the action happens, Guy. Everybody gets down into the aisle and starts shaking hands and getting selfies. And then the big night, what is this? About 30 minutes away. What do you want to see?
So I think at a lot of these things, it's about the agenda moving forward, this laundry list of things that a president might want to do, proposals, et cetera. I think we'll get plenty of that. He'll go, I bet, more than an hour.
Because, Erin, when you hear about the accomplishments, especially in the wake of an administration that didn't do a whole lot, it is kind of inspiring, if you're not a politically attuned person, to hear, wow, this is a government that does stuff.
Cutting the red tape. And by the way, the victory lap that President Trump is going to take around Washington is going to be so fast you won't even have time to say drain the swamp. And I think these accomplishments really do speak for themselves. The American people said we want change, and that change is Donald Trump. We see DEI out of our federal government, men out of women's locker room. We're restoring America to greatness, both domestically and abroad, in terms of our perception. Now, we don't have a president anymore that has handlers that have to walk him to his mark and gives a meaningless, lifeless speech on a teleprompter. We have someone that takes charge, can speak literally for hours on end at a time. The American people don't get a politician. They get someone that's talking directly to them and is achieving their objectives.
And then we have Elon Musk, a special guest as the Doge administrator there tonight. And I don't think he has a son on his shoulders this evening, although that would be pretty fun. We just saw J.D. Vance, who's made quite a name for himself, especially after the last Oval Office meeting and the Munich speech there with Johnson, who was able to get that MAGA bill across the finish line.
At least so far, right? That was a big step one and a victory lap last week, speaking of victory laps for Speaker Johnson. And what a change of scenery from the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi images of some of those states of the union. And then it's going to be Trump, Vance, Johnson. Whole new cast of characters and a very, very new direction for the country.
All right, so we're going to have Johnson gavel this in, and then you're going to have the Joint Chiefs of Staff come in. We may even see some of the justices in robes follow that. There's Nancy Mace with Senator Ted Cruz. I'm sure they're just talking about football and, you know, what they did on Saturday night. There's Ben Shapiro, looks like a special guest of Speaker Johnson, I believe. These guests that the president, Erin, is bringing in, what kind of story do you expect him to tell with some of these people?
Well, we know that President Trump hates the mainstream fake news media, and some of these journalists who have stood up for him time and time again are the new era. We're ushering in a new time in America where people who are sort of street journalists that have done blogs, done podcasts, are in the building tonight, and I think that speaks volume. Donald Trump is the president of the people. He's a populist. And people like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh there, they've had great movies. They started with the Daily Wire. They are really out there in this sort of that new generation, new era of journalism.
I also saw Riley Gaines, I think, sitting with them. And I would not be surprised to see the president lean into the protecting women's sports issue, because Senate Democrats just last night voted unanimously against a bill to protect women's sports. And that is an 80-20 issue in the other direction for them.
So you see Nancy there. Looks like she has a Ukraine flag, wearing pink. She's not going to rip anything up tonight. Will she applaud when the president talks about getting men out of women's locker rooms?
No.
She won't.
No.
And what does that tell the audience, that you're going to have a woman that powerful not stand with women?
There was an analysis done on another network by some polling gurus. They said that the executive order on that issue that Trump signed a few weeks ago may have been the single most popular thing he has ever done in terms of public opinion. And the Democrats seem to be lining up lock, stock, and barrel on the other side of it, which is certainly a choice.
That's one of those things that you can see as a viewer, Erin. If you're going to have the president talking about, let's just say, banning paper straws or getting boys out of girls' sports or closing the border. These are common sense, popular ideas. If the Democrats don't show a little gumption, stand up, maybe just a golf clap. How about a golf clap, Erin?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be defiant, like an insolent toddler. I think we might see some of the Nancy clapping, right, and some sort of outburst, because they're having a very hard time sort of coming to Jesus about what has happened. You know, this was a mandate in Washington and beyond. House, Senate, popular vote, White House. It should really be sending the Democrats, time for a moment of contrition, yet they're not doing that. And I think tonight that's why Donald Trump should say, we are back and better than ever. I got all of my cabinet secretaries through. It is completely stacked. We've got Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. We're really winning on every front in Washington, and it's about time.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Erin. Guy Benson, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's good to